Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, doctor.
Good afternoon.
Doctor, start करते हैं सर.
हाँ जी.
Very good evening to all, doctor. Thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar. The topic of webinar is novel 3 days G protein vaccine, ultimate key for compliance. It is my honor to introduce you to the speaker of today's webinar, Dr. Sanjeev Dang, physician, having practiced in Staff Kailash from too many years. Now I would like you to request Dr. Sanjeev Dang to initiate the talk, and later on we will have a question and answer session. Dr. साहब start कीजिए.
So we are here
Yes, sir.
to discuss the novel 3G protein vaccine developed by Cadila in comparison to the older vaccines. We realize that rabies is a public health challenge in India. We have a huge number of deaths annually, about 60,000, of which the death count in India is about 20,000, which is about 35% of the deaths globally. In India itself, the majority of deaths occur in rural areas, which is about 90%, and the rest 10% are in cities. So we look at the current management of the rabies bite, which we have the local wound treatment, whereas the first aid given by continuous washing with flowing water for 15 minutes. Then is the active immunization, which is the vaccine, and passive immunization, which is by means of immunoglobulins at the local site of the bite. The active immunization is a 5-dose regime, which is given on 0, 3, 7, 14, and 28 days at present. The vaccine has to be given only intramuscularly in areas of the deltoid or in the anterolateral aspect of the thigh. This is one vaccine which is not given in the gluteal region. At the moment, the current challenges for post-exposure prophylaxis is majorly that there is a non-compliance. The earlier on, these vaccines were inactivated vaccines, which are low in stability and short supply with a lot of adverse events. The current rabies vaccine are cell culture vaccines, and a lot of them are entering into a zone of non-compliance. So compliance vaccines, whenever there's an anti-rabies, compliance means when all the 5 schedules of the vaccines are received at 0, 3, 7, 14, and 28 days on the scheduled dates. Delayed compliances when all the 5 vaccines are taken, but not within the schedule. They are delayed by up to 60 days. And then there are people who just take 1 or more vaccines, but they do not complete the schedule. But post routine exposure prophylaxis given by recommendation by World Health Organization, which says up to 4 doses can be given when a retrospective analysis was done at a travel clinic. And it was found 110 patients who received rabies 4 doses only. They were found a lot of shortcomings in these management. One was the late initiation of PEP in the travelers. Then there was delayed in the administration of human rabies immunoglobulins. And it was found after dose of 4 vaccines, the antibody levels were much lower in 6 out of the 90 patients. So conclusions were that patients do not receive optimal post-exposure prophylaxis under real-life conditions. A significant proportion of the patients did not develop adequate antibody levels after 4 doses. So for Indian circumstances, we need to have a full dose of 5 doses, and a study done at Safdarjung Hospital on 360 patients who had received these annual bites. It was found that 53% were non-compliant to the full course of ARV, and delayed was in 6%. This was done at Safdarjung Hospital. Another study at Bangalore, in which 215 patients were signed, 1 dose of vaccine was administered on 0, 3, 7, 14, and 28 days. A complete course. It was found that by the day 0, when 100% people were there, by day 3, 88%, day 7, 85, day 14, 70, and by day 28, only 60% of the people were left to continue the compliance rate. So the constraints to compliance were mainly because India being a poor country, there was loss of wages in about 47% of the people. In about 11% children, the timings interfered with their school. There was a high cost in occurrence in 13%, so forgotten dates were 18%, and 11% did not reach because of the distance to the hospital. So loss of wages being the major issue there. So the rabies vaccine has evaluated. The first was the live attenuated vaccine in 1885, which were non-standardized dried preparations. Then came in 1911 the inactivated vaccine, and the cell culture vaccines came in 1976, which were the immunogenicity lyophilized vaccines, which we are still using. The 5 injections given on 03. These were the cell culture vaccines for a 5-day course. Now, because of the frequent non-compliance, which has been seen from the day 1 with the live attenuated vaccines, when there were 13 doses, and now even till 5 doses, we still find difficulty in getting all the total course. To meet these medical needs, Cadila has introduced a novel vaccine with a simple and shorter regime of 03 and 7 days. It is a G protein vaccine which has been specially developed by Cadila. G protein is very difficult to stabilize. It is prepared by the virus-like platform technology, which is the first protein subunit vaccine, given 3 doses intramuscularly, 3, 0, 3, and 7 days. Because of this, there is much better compliance due to easy flow regime, and it is a much easier, convenient, and ready to use vaccine with there is no reconstitution needed. Now, the VLP technology, in which a native virus is complexes exist as nanoparticles. This G protein is difficult to stabilize. It is purified and stabilized by Cadila Pharmaceuticals Limited. VLPs are native virus particles that do not contain the viral genome, but they can replicate and mimic the viral, causing antigenicity without being pathogenic. They are capable of introducing a strong humoral and cellular immune response, and hence act as good, if not better, than the earlier vaccines. And the clinical phase trials were done, in which both 2-dose and 3-dose of 10 and 50 microgram in comparison with Rabipur were done. And it was found that all these vaccines data, the novel rabies vaccine in day 14, day 42, day 90, day 180 and 270, post-immunization seroprotection was almost equivalent in both the vaccines. The 3-dose recommended nanoparticle rabies gene protein vaccine, a randomized comparator controlled multicentric phase 3 study was also done. And it was published into November 2021. To evaluate the immunogenicity and safety of rabies gene protein. Her rabies along with Rabipur as a reference was done and study was done in 533 subjects with her rabies and 267 subjects with Rabipur. So a total number of 800 subjects were taken. And the data was analyzed. The race results were consistent across different ages and genders, and non-inferiority of seroprotection, both primary endpoint on day 14 and 42 were met. Both on days 40 seroprotection levels were seen. In fact, the localized pain was more with Rabipur. The redness was and swellings were more seen with Rabipur as compared to the rabies. So we have all the data does suggest in these that the novel 3-dose was non-inferior to the reference vaccine and less adverse effects were seen compared to the reference vaccine of Rabipur. So novel 3-dose was found to be safe and immunogenic and comparable to the 5 doses as recommended by World Health Organization pre-qualified vaccines. And as part of this endeavor of Cadila Pharmaceuticals, they were awarded the Pharma Innovation of the Year by Economic Times and the Golden Globe and Tigers Award, Malaysia, for this innovative product of the year, in which only 3 doses leading to much higher compliance would be seen. Thank you.
Thanks so much, you, Dr. Dang, for we truly appreciate your efforts. Last but not least, we would like to inform you that Travage has won 2 prestigious awards in the innovation category, ET India Pharma Award and Golden Globe Tiger Award. Thank you, Dr. Dang.
Thank you.